How's it going, guys? Casey here with the Coyote Works channel. Man, I am so happy to be headed out on another adventure. Headed out on a little camping trip, and it's the first one of the spring. The snow just melted off, and I mean just melted off. So there will be a little bit of guesswork in this adventure. We're just headed out into an area of the desert where there's a bunch of history. As always, I'm going to try to find a couple old homestead sites or some kind of history out here. I've got a few map markers that might be something interesting, but the big thing is I don't know what the conditions are going to be like anywhere out here. You know, a week ago I was out in some of this country and there was 8-10 inches of snow on the ground still, and then we just had these warm temperatures and some rain this week. This is pretty sketchy conditions. This is where this country can just be a muddy, boggy mess out here, but we're just going to head out here and start exploring and see what we come across. So what do we got in store for us on this trip? Well, a couple of camp meals that I'm pretty excited about. I got one classic camp meal that I don't think I've ever made for you guys before, but it's one of my all-time favorites. Usual camp setup. I'll show you guys some of the gear I'm using, and hopefully we'll find some old history along the way. This first little stretch, this first couple miles we're heading through is ranch country. So you're starting to see some cows out, but also you can kind of get a feel for the amount of standing water and mud that's out across this country. I'm a little bit worried about what I'm seeing so far. It's actually a lot wetter than I anticipated. I was hoping that this week of warm sunshine and winds would have dried it out here a little bit more. All right, we're just cresting this little ridge, and for, gosh, the last 25 years of my life, this is one of my favorite parts of this road. It's cresting this ridge, and then look out in front of us, the wide open country that we're headed into. Man, guys, isn't that just gorgeous out there? Yeah, there's a little bit of water standing out here, but so far everything's feeling relatively stable, at least out in this country, and the question will be, how far can I get the direction where I really want to go and explore some new areas? Oh yeah, here's starting to be a little bit of water standing in the road. This isn't good, guys. I was hoping to get a lot further south before I started running into these kind of conditions. All right, this one looks a little suspect, but I think we'll be all right. Oh man, I just spotted this out the window of the Jeep, but this is a pretty intense dump site here. So it's an interesting location too, because as far as I know, I've never found a homestead right here by it or right in this area. So, but with a dump this intense, I'm thinking there has to be something. I'm not sure if it was maybe from the railroad camps right up in the pine trees or from a homestead community that was a little ways away, but really curious. It's pretty extensive. It's a good sized dump for out in this country. So this is a pretty old style tin can right there with the lead solder seal on it. Huh, look at this. Some pieces of an old crock that some old German family made sauerkraut in that crock. Yeah, so it goes all the way from my rig out across there, then all the way over here to this little rim. So good sized little dump. It's just amazing. You look around this country, as far as the eye can see, it's just empty open country. and you wouldn't think that there was a thing in it, but you get out and you walk across it, and there was just history everywhere out here. There was a homestead on every 640 acres out here practically had a homestead on it. So the beginning of that homestead era was back in, the late 1800s. Out here in this country, it was like 1870 were some of the earlier homesteads. There was a little bit of exploring and settlement out here before that, but most of it was 1870 and later, and just all the way up into by the 1920s, most everybody out here was starved out, and only a few of the bigger places that had the best water were left. So, it was a short little window of time, about roughly about 40 years or so, that this country had people living all over it. All right, let's jump back in the rig and we'll head on a little further. Uh-oh, this is getting a little sketchy in here. Four-wheel drive. All right. Yeah, there's going to be some soft spots around here for sure. Oh yeah. I don't know how much further this way we're going to be able to go. Alright guys, well now I got a little different problem. I'm getting up here into the trees, and I was hoping that I'd like to be up in the trees somewhere to camp for a couple reasons. One, have a little bit of break from the wind. It's pretty windy out there on the flat. But then number two, have access to some decent firewood and everything. I'd like some firewood for doing my cooking tonight and everything, but I don't know. Now I'm getting into this area where it's melted, the snow's melted off. It's really soft, and then where the snow isn't melted off, it's deep enough that I'm starting to have a hard time going through it. So I'm probably going to make the call here in the next 10 minutes or so, and I might turn around and do some backtracking, head out on the flat, and then go out in some country, a little more out in the flat where there will be less snow. Now the only problem with that is that could be out in country where there's less snow, but there's more mud. So it's kind of a little bit of a catch-22 for me right now. I'm up. Oh man, guys, this is what I just drove through, and it is getting to be sloppy. It has just turned into a muddy mess. Look at this. Woohoo! Sliding around. Dang. Alright, we're back out on the flat, and I think not a minute too soon, because it is melting off fast. Dang. Alright. Well, we should be alright. We should be out of the worst of it now, and it should be starting to get a little bit drier. Well, I don't know. Look at this. Alright, another little mud hole coming up here. There's nothing to winch to out here. Well, there's a little water out here. Let's get out and check this out. Well, that's the way I want to go. I could go that way too, but it looks like either way's got a little water in it. All right, well, we'll see how she goes. I think I'm just going to try to ease right down there, and got her in 4-wheel drive, and we'll see how she goes. Oh shit, this feels a little bit about like going out on a lake. Damn it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Oh shoot. All right, I don't think we're gonna go that way. Wow, we got ourselves a little bit of a problem. It's thawed out, so the roads behind us are soft, and the roads in front of us are flooded with water, so guys, my plan B didn't work out so well. Check this out. This might just be the end of the road, so I'm gonna have to turn around and go back the other way. I don't think I better risk. What I wanted to do was go straight out that way, head down that road, and then eventually get to the tree line up there, but I don't think I better risk it. That's looking pretty soft out there. Boy, I tell you what though, this is sure when it is nice to have a pretty capable rig out here. Oh my gosh, guys, we can't win for losing. What do you think? Can we make that? I don't know. The problem is, guys, I don't know where else I'm going to go. So I think I have to go through here. I don't think I have a choice. Oh man, I think the water's coming in my doors. Come on, baby, come on. We got it. We got it. We got it. Woo! Oh man. Well, guys, we just crossed the Jeep. I put the lockers in front and rear, and boy, in the middle of it, I was floating a little bit, but had just enough traction to keep pulling through it. That was about the closest that I've been to getting stuck in a while. And man, the problem is it was about 3 feet deep out there in the middle of that. So if I would have got stuck out there, man, that was going to be a wet mess getting out of there. Woo! I can't tell you guys how happy I am the old Rubicon pulled through. All right, well, let's go see if we can find a place to camp now. All right, she's trucking through it all right. Not too bad. Oh man, guys, I think this is going to be our campsite for the night. It's not everything you would want in a campsite, but I think it'll do. I got some nice views down in a little bit of a dip here, so I have just a little bit of protection from the wind. Got a nice level spot for the Jeep right there. There's actually quite a bit of wood around here. Here's a big old log right here. I'll be able to get plenty of firewood off that for the night. Now, one thing, guys, that's really, really important out here, especially this time of year, is look for widowmaker trees, dead trees. So you see up there, I've got some leaning trees. So they're all leaning, so they'll fall that way if they went down. So I've got nothing that's leaning the direction that it would fall on my Jeep. That one's leaning, but it'll fall away from me. And man, look at this view in here. I just love this country. It's this country that's right on the edge of the Ponderosa Pine Forest and the desert. It gets a little windy in here. There's not a lot of cover, but man, what an amazing place to spend the night. And I'm way the heckin' gone out here. Nobody for miles. So I think it'll be a pretty nice little campsite. All right, so let's go get some things unloaded, get our camp set up. Maybe we'll have a chance to kick back and relax a little bit, enjoy a tasty beverage before we start making dinner. And man, I am excited about dinner tonight. I haven't been eating much today, saving myself for this delicious dinner. So look here, guys. This is going to be a super simple camping trip. I just really don't have very much gear at all. A chair, a table, a food box. I've got like some of this gear just stays in here, my recovery gear. I'm gonna put my fire right about here. The wind's hitting my back, so that'll keep the smoke blowing away from my rooftop tent, which will be nice. The nice thing is this ground's pretty clear already here, so I'll just scrape a little bit of the pine needles right off the top of it, and it'll be good to go. Nice little spot for the fire right there. Good old trusty table here. One more piece of gear that I absolutely love is this fire reflector wall from MC Ranch Overland. And this thing is phenomenal. Right now, it would probably take me here in this area probably 20 to 30 minutes to gather enough material to build a fire reflector wall. And this is all ready and all good to go. Oh, all right, guys, camp's pretty much all set up. Just gonna sit for a minute here, enjoy my tasty beverage. Tonight I'm having a super manly LaCroix mojito flavor, Naturally Essence mojito flavor. So, just gonna chill for a minute and enjoy this beautiful spot. The sun's probably gonna go down in about 15 minutes. I still gotta get some firewood, so I'll chill for a minute and then we'll go grab some firewood. But man, I just want to sit and take in this beautiful little spot right here. It's so calm right now. The wind died down. There's actually some birds. Had a squirrel up in the tree, and if I didn't already have plenty of stuff for dinner, he might be in danger. So I got the Husky battery powered saw here. Just check it out real quick. Make sure, oh yeah, we got lots of battery. How's the chain oil looking? Lots of bar oil. All right, she's good to go. So let's go find us some wood. I think there was a snag right over here. We'll go see if we can get that guy. Got some of this wood that's up off the ground in this root wad is nice and dry. So it's also, this is a good amount of pitch wood too. So this will be really good for getting the fire going. So I'm going to cut a few pieces of this, and then we'll find some more good clean burning wood. chopping block. All right, well, most of this wood's pretty wet, but we'll see if we can split some of it. Whew, got a nice hot fire going. All that pitch wood really takes off fast. I'm ready to start cooking up some dinner, so as soon as that fire gets to a point where it's self-sustaining, I'm going to start yarding some stuff out and cooking up some dinner. All right, guys, I told you about this. I'm going to make a classic camp meal. And this is one of my favorites, but I haven't had it for a long time, and I don't think I've ever made it in a video. So, super, super simple. I got a pound of hamburger. I got a nice onion bun. I got a can of Manwich. And I got some grated cheese. So, Sloppy Joe's is what's on the menu tonight. Great meal, one of those classic camp meals. Really simple, easy to make, and very, very good. This pan's almost just a little too small for this, but we're gonna make it work, right? All right, the burger is done. Now let's add this delicious Sloppy Joe sauce. Oh man, that's gonna be so good. Turn that down just a little bit. All right, guys, I think this is ready, and I am starving, so. I heated up the buns over the fire a little bit. That is Camp Sloppy Joe's. Oh man, that is so good. Oh guys, this is where it's at. I'm drinking a, let's see, what is this? A Black Cherry Waterloo. Nice pair with the Sloppy Joe's. All right, everyone, so that's Camp Sloppy Joe's. Delicious classic camp meal. Takes about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Whoa. Oh man, guys, my belly's full. Got all the dishes done. This is one of my favorite times of the day to just kick back, sit here by the fire, enjoy my tasty beverage. So something else I always like to do is, right now, all of you that contributed to the Gas and Tires Fund, you should see your name scrolling by right here. Man, that does help a bunch. If you feel compelled to make a contribution to my channel, feel free to use the PayPal link in the description down below, but no pressure. And my hope is that as many people as possible that are interested in this kind of stuff just stick around and enjoy my videos. And one thing I always think about when I'm sitting here next to the fire is just who was the last person that was here, how many people have been here over the years. You know, the Native Americans roamed all this fringe country in here. You can definitely find the occasional spear point or obsidian flakes in here. Then when the early settlers, the early European settlers came to this area around the late 1800s, they traveled up into these pine trees to get firewood. In some cases, even lumber and wood for building fences and things like that around their place. I always think about that, how the gears changed, but what seems like a nice spot to camp to me today could have quite possibly seemed like a good place to camp for somebody else years and years and years ago. And I like to think about some of those other people and what their story was that were roaming the same country that I am on this trip. All right, here I am up on my rooftop tent. I got my little Covea Cupid heater going. One of the worst things when you're out camping is if you're cold and then you got to crawl into a cold sleeping bag and then you lay there with your body heat trying to warm up the sleeping bag forever. The really nice thing about running a little heater is just getting it nice and toasty in here, crawling into a warm sleeping bag. When I'm all nice and toasty, I reach over, shut off the heater, and fall asleep into a blissful slumber. All right, guys, well, I am all snugged in. I think I'm going to be really comfortable tonight. The temperature is starting to drop out there, but I don't think it'll get much below freezing. Yeah, it wasn't the history hunting day that I was hoping it would be, but I still really enjoyed it. There was enough of a challenge with all the water out there that made it feel like I accomplished something, and I really am enjoying this little camp spot here. So anyways, we'll see what tomorrow brings. So that's all for this day. Coyote Works out. I'll see y'all in the morning for coffee. Good morning, guys. Wow, I slept really good. I started getting a little chilly this morning, but oh man, guys, I was just sitting here having my first little bit of coffee. I just take a packet of instant coffee and mix it up in a water bottle, but man, look at that view out there. Sun's just starting to peek up over the horizon, and I set my tent up. That's one of the things that I set my tent up where the morning sun would hit it, which is always nice when it's cold like this, but man, look at that out there. Just gorgeous. Oh man, all right. So I'm gonna have a little, make myself my second coffee this morning. This is a cold brew from Back Porch Coffee Roasters, and this is delicious coffee in a can. Most of you guys know that have been watching my channel for a while that I like iced coffee all year long. So I got this with just a little bit of milk in it. Oh yeah, that's gonna be amazing. Oh, Back Porch coffee. Perfect. All right, we're gonna make another classic breakfast this morning, and it's so windy. I didn't, my stoves weren't working very well, so we're just gonna actually cook down here on the fire. A lot of times that's easier, and I kind of like it better anyway. I'm just gonna put a little tiny butter in that pan. Then we're gonna throw some sausages on, and we're gonna have a nice classic breakfast here. About 3 of these sausage patties on there. I always set up a hand washing station, especially when I'm handling raw things like bacon and stuff like that. All right, guys, check this out. This is going to be one of my favorite breakfasts, and this is I took a page out of the book of some of my British buddies. So this is baked beans, sausage, and eggs. Oh yeah, that's going to be amazing. All right, breakfast is served. Man, guys, this is just going to be phenomenal. There's something about the beans mixed with the eggs and the sausage. Really good combination. Oh man, guys, that was a delicious breakfast. So just enjoying my morning coffee, looking around here. Probably not while I'm talking, but sometimes big open area like this, you can see some deer or something walking by out there. But I think I'm going to get most of my camp buttoned up and then go for a little walk around here, kind of check it out a little bit. All right, I pretty much got everything broke down and staged and ready to go in the Jeep. I left a chair out and that fire reflector while I left it out just to cool it off. So we're going to go for a little walk and see what this country looks like around here. For my walk, I'm going to travel light. Just carry a canteen full of water. All right, let's see what things look like out here. Beautiful country, huh? Yeah, I just love seeing new country, and this is an area that I haven't actually been to before, so we're going to keep our eyes open, see if we can find any kind of a tin can, any kind of sign of earlier habitation here, looking for obsidian flakes, anything like that. Ah, it's beautiful out here. Look at this wide open space out in front of us. We'll walk out to that far grove of trees out there. Well guys, so far not a single can, not a single obsidian flake, nothing. So remember what I was telling you last night, how I probably wasn't the first person to camp out here? Well, maybe I was. Anyway, I'm just starting to loop back to camp, throw everything in the Jeep, and I've got a couple more spots. I don't know if we'll be able to get to them or not in these conditions, but I got a couple more spots I want to try for. Snow's getting a little tough to walk in. I keep post-holing through it. Well, there's the Jeep. I'm almost back. I did about a 1.5 mile loop. And now we'll head back down to the Jeep. All right, practiced almost leave no trace camping. Brian from Northwest Overland will probably be along shortly to camp in this spot. So Brian, I left you a little bit of wood, a nice little chopping block, and then over there, a little stump you can set up your hand washing station on. All right, guys, time to hit the road. All right, guys, now the big thing will be, what are the conditions going to be like today? So we're still a little bit early in the day, so maybe things will be frozen. I don't know. It's like 10:30. There are no tracks on this stretch of the road, so at least no vehicle tracks on here in quite some time anyway. So hopefully that doesn't mean that it doesn't go through or something like that. Huh, check this out. Another nice little campsite. We might jump out and do a quick little explore of this. Let's jump out and check this out. Oh yeah, look at this. This is actually a nice little camp spot. See what that sign says up there. Wonderly Deer Camp. Rest in peace, Michael Wonderly, 1957 to 2017. Well, my condolences to the Wonderly family, but this looks like a beautiful little spot here. Nice little fire pit there. Oh yeah. I bet that's a flagpole. And then look at that up there. Those are meat poles. Those are for hanging deer or elk on. So this must be a hunting camp. But yeah, this is a great little spot to camp in here. Oh yeah, look at this. Drops off out into the wide open sage flats out there. It's probably pretty good hunting in here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice little spot. All right, we're finally coming down into an area that doesn't have as much snow. Actually, this is just a south-facing hillside, so all the snow's melted off here, or at least for the most part. So I thought we'd just zip up this little road, see what's up here, and I'm actually looking for a spot to stop and fix a coffee and maybe even have a little snack too. Oh man, guys, this is a beautiful spot here. The wind's kind of clipping along, but I'm having a little, I don't know, red tomato, spinach, chicken pasta salad that I get from this local deli that they make it. So it's the Century Market right on 3rd Street in Prineville. So if you're coming through and you want some good fresh made potato salads, macaroni salads, things like that for your trip, it's a good place to stop by. I'm on the backside of a hill called Pine Mountain, and there's actually an observatory at the top of it, which is kind of cool to visit. All right, let's go see. There should have been some kind of a homestead or camp here or something. Huh, that's interesting. That's a little piece of porcelain, and it says something about a distillery on it. Very interesting. Couple little pieces of glass. I think we'll move on. Well guys, I'm back on the pavement and headed for home. The last homestead site didn't pan out. There's actually a little bit of private ground in there, and I couldn't really find a way to get around it to get to the other side where the homestead site was. So that one will have to wait for another day, another lifetime. So I know it wasn't the most exciting trip that I've ever taken y'all on. I didn't find anything super cool history-wise or anything like that, but it was a little bit of an adventure. And I hope y'all enjoyed coming along with me. As always, I look forward to your comments, your questions, and above all, I look forward to seeing y'all in the next adventure. Coyote Works, out.